Okay.
stuff.
And then I think we believe we are live. We're live. Are we?
All right.
I think we're live.
Are we?
I never know. I never know.
It says starting.
I think we are started.
Okay.
Okay.
Or it says turn on. I don't know. Maybe not.
No, we're live.
Nope, we're live. Okay.
We're live. Yay! What's going on, guys? It's another edition of Just Saying Podcast, but it's a horror/drama edition where we're talking Bates, Motel, and spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen the finale or anything like that, there's going to be a lot of spoiler discussion in here. So we're talking Bates Motel. I'm Dan the Manic, Daniel's son. I'm here with the great Jazz, first time.
What's up, guys?
And I know you're super excited to talk about Bates.
Oh, heck yeah. I love Bates.
Bates is like, oh, man. I mean, have you seen the original Psycho?
I did. And it was kind of a snooze fest for me because I felt like it just didn't come close to really... It was kind of underwhelming compared to watching the Bates Motel series.
Did you see Vince Vaughn's version?
No, I didn't. Is it good?
No, it's not. He's terrible.
I love Vince Vaughn, but I can't imagine him playing Norman Bates.
He's not a good serious actor, I gotta say. But we are talking Bates Motel, and before we start getting into discussion with the season finale, because man, I mean, season 5, just 5 seasons, which I thought was fine.
50 episodes.
I think I want to know real quick, like how did you get into Bates Motel?
Honestly, I just kind of saw previews for it on the channel on A&E, and I was like, you know what, that looks like something up my alley. I like horror. I like that kind of like crime kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I knew it was based on Norman Bates, and I knew he was a serial killer, or not a serial killer, but at least, he
did some bad.
He did some bad stuff.
He did some bad stuff.
I was like, I think I'll like that. I'm going to watch it.
I think I want to be bad.
I saw Freddie Highmore in it, and I was like, you know what? He's really charming. Like, I wanted to, like, watch it because of him. Like, honestly, that was the biggest, like, kind of...
Were you there from the very beginning, or did you like come in like in season 2?
Oh no, I totally started from the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw the previews on it, and I was like, "Yep, that's my thing. I'm gonna start watching that."
That's awesome because I started maybe like in season 3.
Oh yeah.
Season 3 because I binged the first 2 seasons and then I carried on after that, or maybe it was season 4 because I think it might have been just season 4 because I binged like all of them.
Yeah.
And then the final season was upon us, so it was like maybe half of season 4, but
yeah.
Okay, so I mean, man, 5 seasons. We're waiting for what was going to happen in the season finale. So if you haven't seen the season finale, we're going to do some spoiler talk real quick, and then we're going to get into the overall series. But the season finale, which was called The Cord.
Mm-hmm. And they cut that cord, didn't they?
They cut that. They cut it good. They cut it good. Pun intended.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you and told you like there's no way. I believed that Dylan was going to kill Norman. I didn't think it was going to be in that scenario that happened in the season finale, but I thought that was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I did some predictions, and I told you about the headstone. Yeah. The headstone, that there was a lot of foreshadowing. Right. And those 2 moments definitely came to play in the season finale. What did you overall think about the season finale, and what did you think was going to happen that was a little bit different watching it?
I guess I kind of knew that Norman was going to die, but it wasn't prepared, I think, to, like, I don't know. It's like when it happened, I was like, kind of like, eh. Like, it didn't get me the way I thought it was going to get me, because I really loved his character, and I was like, man, it's probably going to be, like really dramatic and emotional when that happens, but honestly, I was just kind of like, nah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
He died.
How would you have had Norman die?
I think...
or even if he did die, because I was thinking the scenario when watching it, was like, you know what? They could have went the route of him actually going to prison.
Yeah, I thought he was going to end up in a mental facility. I really did, because I thought they made him such a beloved character. Like, even though he was psychotic and everything, he was so polite and friendly, and you kind of wanted him to figure things out, and he just had like this sweetness about him, this innocence that you just kind of wanted to be like, he can't become this person that they're trying to make him. But towards the end, I was like, well, I know they're going to end it somehow, but I thought, maybe they'll put him in a mental institution because I didn't think that they were going to actually have somebody kill him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I thought they could go either way. But honestly, I did think that, like, there's no way Norman gets out of this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if they wanted to, I could see it. I could see it happening, him going to the institution or even just prison itself. Because, you know, that's how it, because Dylan didn't want to do it. No. Dylan, hands down, did not want to kill Norman. And that's the problem I kind of had with the season finale, was the predictability. Yeah. Because a lot of things that we thought of actually happened. Right. But I felt there was a powerful ending to Norman. I get what you're saying, though. Yeah. Like, it just wasn't that. Yeah. What I expected with Norman's character. But I did love the confrontation of Dylan and Norman.
I love their interaction together, and I felt like, oh man, like, as it was going along and I first started watching it, especially when Romero came in and he was like, get your ass in the car. Basically, I was like, oh, like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die.
I thought the weakest death in that season finale was Romero's.
Oh my gosh, yes.
How pissed were you when, like, because it's not Romero. Romero is not stupid like that. He's not
stupid like that. Like really, you're gonna get caught up, like, looking at a corpse, and then you're gonna end up getting shot by a mentally ill kid.
Like, what are you gonna do with that corpse? Like, what are you doing with that corpse, Romero? Like you're, and then not hearing Norman sneak up on him. It's just, they're in snow.
Romero, he just so much, like, gave up his whole life, like, for somebody who was already gone, and it just was so confusing to me because he, like you said, he was such a strong character. Yeah. And such a, like, I don't know, a force to be reckoned with, really, and kind of like a bad, not bad cop, but like, what do they call, like
a crooked cop?
Yeah, like a crooked cop, whatever, but still had good intentions, like, or whatever.
The best thing about Romero, yeah, exactly, is, like, he wanted a life, you know, he wanted with Norma, right? And that was probably if Norma was still alive, that Norma was pretty much, I don't want to say excuse, but was his way of, like, turning the corner and doing good. Yeah. But Norman took that away, so it wasn't just like you kill Norma, which is a big part of it. Right. It was a part of you took. There's like
the
Romero,
hope of a new life for him, maybe.
Exactly, like Romero said the whole time, like, I have nothing else to live for. There's nothing else for me. Norma was everything for me. Right. So Romero's demise, like, and he was one of my favorite characters through the whole series. Oh, I loved him.
He's great.
And the actor was fantastic.
I'm still not real clear on, and maybe you can help me remembering why he ended up in prison.
Oh, he ended up in prison. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not because he beat up Norman at the funeral.
It's because I think he killed that one guy.
Okay.
And they found like his body and stuff.
What's his name? I know who you're talking about. I pulled him up online because I wanted to be a little bit prepared here.
Yeah, which I am not. I'm never prepared. What you hear is what you get. I freaking
it's like Bob Parrish or Paris or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
Bob
something
Paris.
like, because remember he had ties with Norma too. Like, Romero basically was protecting Norma towards the end of this when we're winding down to Norma's life.
Right.
And you know what? With Romero being in jail and how he got out. So how did you feel about, like, the whole situation? How Romero got Norman? How he escaped? You know, was it believable for him? I mean, he knew the inside and out because he used to be a sheriff.
I don't know if it was believable for me because I just couldn't believe that Romero was throwing away what was left of the life that he could have had, even though it was without Norma. Yeah. To seek this revenge, to basically throw everything away, to, you know, he could never be in law enforcement again after that. Like, he just totally, like, pissed everything away just because he was avenging her. And I just thought it was, like, so weak, like you said.
Did you think the relationship between Norma and Romero, like, was it strong enough to warrant that?
Yeah, no, see, that's what I was going to say. I think maybe they didn't spend enough time, like, making me believe that was the love of his life, I guess. Maybe. Yeah,
because we didn't have enough time with Norma and Romero together. Yeah, right. We had a lot of time with them separate, you know, and them arguing with each other, which is absolutely, we loved that because it was humorous and, you know, you could tell those two wanted to bang.
But, yeah, totally.
And then when they do... they're married, but they're married for only so long because Norman wants to like fucking
And it's kind of a convenience thing because she can't pay for his care in the psychiatric unit, so he's like, well, you could use my insurance, whatever. So it kind of becomes like a I'll help you, help me thing, and then they kind of just fall in love. You know, which you already knew was gonna happen. But
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of felt to me like it wasn't enough of a justification to me that he was going like pissing his whole life away down the drain just because he was in love with her at one point and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
To me, it just didn't.
There was a little something off.
Yeah,
about
it was
everything.
it just didn't click for me in that way.
And but that was probably one of the reasons. One of the things I just did not like about the season finale was just this character that we followed throughout the whole series and how smart and witty he is and how he had backup plan after backup plan. Yet he still allowed Norman snuck up on him.
Yeah.
Like, it's just stupid.
And it's funny because right when it was happening, I'm watching it and I'm like, Romero, why aren't you looking behind you? Like, Romero, straight up. Like, there was just too much time. I see that gun
coming out, like, right there. And it's probably like, this is what's going to happen.
There was just too much time. There was too much time that he was spending on that particular task. I was like, he's going to die.
Yeah, he's going to die right there. He's going to die. And what I said in my review is like, why the fuck did he not just kill Norman and then go to Norma?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just shoot Norman, go over there, do your thing.
He just drew the whole thing out too long, but it's like I'm kind of glad he did too because I didn't want Norman to die. I never wanted Norman to die.
Oh, of course they can't have Romero kill him right away because it would have been crazy.
Yeah,
it would have been like I don't think I've really seen that before in a finale.
Right.
But of course, and what I thought was that was going to be the ending of the series where we're still, dragging along until. They get to where Norma's body is, and I thought that was going to be the ending. And Dylan was going to show up and somehow find them,
right? And
then Dylan was going to have to either
help him or shoot him or whatever.
Yeah, and I thought Dylan was going to kill Norman, but it was not that at all. It was Romero, and then we're moving on to other characters.
Right, and when he started like going into his like double like fantasy life or whatever, if you will, as like almost like he's reliving the beginning when they first started, I was like, oh, he's gonna go somewhere else. It's because they made it kind of seem like he was gonna go wherever they were supposed to go initially.
Exactly.
Right?
Because that I liked it, but I didn't because wait, and then especially with Norma leaving, he's like, I gotta go.
Right.
We're like, what do you mean you gotta go? He didn't take no meds.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do you mean?
What are you talking about? Like, where's she going?
What?
Like, he's never, it's never been an issue with her leaving him before, and all of a sudden he's gone because he's self-aware, but he was self-aware when she first told him why she was there in the first place. So why did she all of a sudden
just leave?
I gotta go.
Gotta get out of here. Gotta like, where are you going?
What's going on right now?
Like Norman knows too that.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she had to go because Norman finally confessed that he killed her, but it still doesn't warrant you're not on your meds. Like the rules is like.
She only disappears when
you're on your meds.
Yeah, when he's in his right mind, right?
Yeah, and
I don't know. It just was weird.
That was weird. That was a little weird. And me and you agree. Why isn't there a cop?
Okay, like for real, like that part bugged me the entire ending. I was like, what the heck is going on? She even told people to go to the house.
Yes.
Why do they have all this time to just hang out?
The sheriff, like if I'm her, I'm like, this dude's unstable. Most of a lot of times I see on cases, they always come back to, maybe to get some...
multiple homicide, scene where there's not a cop in sight. It's just they have all this time.
They can't have one cop there.
No,
just one cop there.
It's too
if they had one cop and him killing that cop, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But, not one cop making sure Norman doesn't retract.
There's no obstacle for him, whatsoever.
It was just for him to get that final guess and for him to reminisce or think about Dylan.
Right.
And then to, which was kind of weird because he finally snaps out of it when Dylan shows up.
Yeah.
And
I love that scene, by the way. I just love when he says, what I want can never happen.
Yes.
It's just oh my God, tug at my heartstrings. I love that guy who plays Dylan. He's great. Max Theria, I think.
Oh, God. He was amazing. One thing about the series finale was the brightest spot out of everything was Dylan.
Yeah.
And the brightest spot of the series was Dylan's character and where he was at in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought oh, man, another character who mommy issues.
Right.
This dude's not going to last long.
Right.
But just the arc of and what's fucked up is when we're watching it, I'm like, the only normal person here is Dylan, and he's an incest baby.
Yeah, exactly. He's the only normal one,
He's
right?
the only normal one.
And you could tell he wanted to, like, give Caleb a chance because he's like, that's my dad, even though it happened, like...
Yeah, and poor Caleb.
Right.
That's pretty fucked up, yeah.
Caleb, too. Like,
that's where Dylan got his humanity from, was Caleb. Even though Caleb did such a horrific thing.
Right. He still had a heart. Like, you kind of wanted him to, like, turn a new leaf, and, you know, he had love for Norma. Maybe not the right kind, obviously.
Exactly, right. He went way too much to the right. That motherfucker like went to the right, backtrack, and came back to Norma.
Yeah, but you knew his like heart was in the right place, and he was trying to put two and two together, but he just never got his ducks in a row, and he couldn't chase down his demons, and whatever. But I loved when Emma was like, "Hey, it's been great. You're just like such a good guy, but you gotta get the F out of here."
So like, sly, huh? So sly. It's like, we love you.
Yeah. But you gotta leave.
You gotta go.
And I was like, dang, she straight told him, like, he needs to go. Like,
and
man.
That was the one thing I was like, did he really have to go? Like,
I don't know.
Did he really have to?
I kind of think so, because...
It's an awkward situation.
I get it. Like, she's gonna be... You're her grandfather, but you're also the father of, like... And then her uncle. You're actually her uncle.
Just lie.
Yeah,
just lie.
Yeah, it's just weird.
This is your grandpa?
It would have been a weird situation.
It would have been a weird, awkward situation.
Yeah.
But Dylan definitely... and I do love the romance that with him and Emma. I was rooting for that.
I loved that he took that risk to get the money for her to have her operation, so that she could live a normal life. Like, and she didn't even know about it for a few like episodes, and that was really fun to kind of see like how she had no idea why she was given this opportunity and put to the top of the donor list. And then all of a sudden, like, she's getting this new, like, lung transplant and everything. And it's just really beautiful.
Here you go. There you go. There's a lung.
And he really risks his life to go get that for her. Because he goes on that mission, remember, where they, like, smuggle guns or something. And they end up almost dead.
Yeah, and then Caleb. And then you had the whole Chick situation.
Oh, my. I love Chick.
Poor Chick. Opie always dies.
He's just... Oh, my gosh.
This guy always dies in movies.
Does he really?
He's basically the Sean Bean of everything.
I don't remember him from any other thing other than this show. But
he's in Sons of Anarchy. He's in Remember the Titans.
Okay. I do remember the Titans. I do remember that.
And like, he doesn't die right away, but they're at his funeral at the end of that movie.
It's like, oh, poor guy. And he's so likable, too. You're like, oh, come on, Chick. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, but I'm glad that they didn't go the route because Chick was making a story.
I don't think he needed to die. Come on. He was just writing a story down there. I think Romero was just really pissed off at the situation. He was just like, God, this little fucker is just writing a story about this. Blah, blah, blah. Like, he doesn't even give him a chance to, like... I don't know. He didn't do anything that bad, in my opinion. What do you think? Like, I don't think he...
Well, he covered for Norman. He killed Caleb.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean...
But that's not why Romero killed him. He doesn't care about Caleb.
It's a situation where you're in the wrong place
at
the wrong time, you motherfucker.
I mean,
and like he's sitting back, he's like making it his home and like I mean, I love Chick. Chick is awesome.
He's a great character.
But that was a great death too.
Yeah.
Right on his fucking story. And like he's getting a little loony too.
He was getting
he's loony, but like like, he understood Norman, but nobody did.
Yeah.
But
I love the part where you see, like, that he sees him, like, has exhumed her body, and she's lying on the couch, and he's like, do what you gotta do, man, but I just need you to realize that she is dead. Like, he's just basically telling him, like, I get what you gotta do to get through it.
Yeah.
But you gotta understand that she's not here.
Oh, yeah, and then the dinner scene.
Yeah.
Where, like, and, I was like, how are they going to get around that? And then Norman's like, oh, didn't you hear her, Chick? And Chick's like, this is good, Norman.
He's smart. He's like, shit, I don't know. Bite the hand that feeds me. Like, if crazy man thinks his mom is here, I'm going to pretend like his mom is here. Like,
it was interesting how much... It was interesting how much he loved Norman. I think he did. I think he genuinely loved Norman.
He really did.
Because when he does see the caution tape and, like, all the cops there, he's like, oh my God, is he like is he dead?
He wants to know if he's okay. He has a heart, you can tell. He really does care about him.
I can go either way if Chick living or dying. I did think the death scene was kind of I think it was kind of funny. It was kind of cool cuz like he doesn't shut up through the whole thing. I was like, and when I was watching, like, Romero shoot this guy already, and then he ends up shooting him.
I just kind of already knew that's where it was going.
It was going.
I was like, man, Chick is so like not, you know.
He's just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
He really is.
So we strayed away from Dylan.
yeah, we did. Sorry.
Because these characters are rich and everything, and but Dylan, to me, I have to say, it's hard because it's Norman and Dylan.
Yeah.
And I just absolutely love that they did pretty much conclude the series with those two.
I did love that, yeah.
Because we didn't get a lot. I don't think we got a lot of that with Dylan
throughout the whole series,
Norman,
huh?
Yeah.
They weren't even really that close. It didn't seem like.
With Dylan and his dialogue, it did seem like it, but we never was kind of shown.
Yeah, it was. You never like. I knew there was a jealousy there too, for sure.
Yeah, with Norman.
Oh, you knew that. Like, yeah. Dylan always felt like Norman was Norma's favorite, and that it was just him and Norma.
Back and forth, yeah. And then Norma went to Dylan, and it was back and forth, which was really good. But yeah, but it was great to especially leading up to the series finale, because like Emma saying like why she still couldn't really understand like why are you sticking up to Norman, like why are you still why
are you standing by him when he's done this horrible thing. Like
she kind of understands towards the end, but then like she probably's like fuck that guy,
Yeah, she is, but it's like I don't even get that really, because it's like I get that that's her biological mother, but like who gives a shit? That lady didn't do anything nice. No,
exactly.
For her.
Like she abandoned her.
Yeah, like who cares? Why does she have so much allegiance to that woman? Like I don't understand that either.
It is. They did sprinkle that in where she's like she always wanted that motherly figure.
Yeah.
Of course, she does say like Norma was more of a mother than my other actual mother. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it was a little odd, but I absolutely think that I love the scene though with Emma and
Norma. My god, I love that scene where she goes to talk to him.
Very reminiscent of Silence of the Lambs.
It is very
yeah, just absolutely. a different of course what's going on.
Absolutely different scenario, but still.
Yeah, but when oh my god, when I just love that when Emma looks at Norman/Norma.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, where's Norman?
Where's Norman?"
Yeah,
she knows he's not in his right mind at that time, and it's like, wow, she knows him. You know?
And then with Dylan, finding that out too, like how fucking psycho this guy is. Yeah. And then how I was like, oh,
they did.
Wait till he sees the body.
No, they did not hold back in that scene. I was like, oh my god, and I was like, they better have him throw up or something, because any person in their right mind who saw somebody had exhumed the body of their dead mother is gonna react like accordingly.
And he actually did. And I like how he doesn't go straight at him. Like he kind of just like waits and like he's like, "Am I seeing what I'm seeing?"
Yeah.
Because you can see it in his like fucking face. He's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like after Norman's like, "I'll clean it up. Don't worry. Don't worry."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Norman, like you fucking psychopath.
What are you doing, you freak?" Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
So I really appreciate that they made it more of a. Of Norman and Dylan, because they sprinkled that with Dylan, showing up at the courtroom, but having to leave because he was so conflicted. And I love the scene where he's in the car and he's calling Emma.
Right.
And I'm surprised Emma didn't even call anybody to go over there.
Yeah, I am too.
Or maybe she did.
Or maybe we didn't see it or whatever. I don't know.
Because
I was thinking that was going to happen too, because she's like, "Did you tell the sheriff?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, but this bitch is gonna call the sheriff. Like, I already know it.
Yeah.
She's gonna out him. She don't give a fuck. Like I was.
She wants Dylan to survive, not Norman.
Yeah, she don't care.
Yeah. So
Romero for life, says Super Nerd 81. Yes, Romero for life.
Fuck Romero.
Except for Romero died because he was doing something.
He was
stupid.
a dumbass.
He died for a dumb reason.
For a dumb reason. My boy Romero deserved a little bit better than that.
Yeah, he did. I didn't like his send off. I didn't.
No, that was. I think that was the only kind of really true complaint I had with the series finale.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a nice little touch at the end with the song and everything, and then if they find like.
I'm having a hard time remembering why or what. Who did Chick send off like with like kind of like a warrior's like tribute, like when he like lights on fire the corpse and he sends it out to the waters? Who does he gets rid of a body for Norman, but I can't remember whose. There's so many damn people.
That might have been
die
Caleb.
in the show.
That might have been Caleb.
It might have been, huh?
Yeah.
Because he gives him like a really nice, like I don't remember. I think it's called like a Viking.
Oh no!
Like,
where did Caleb go? Caleb must have burned.
Caleb died
because Sam was the one in the well.
Right. We know that.
And the guy who
I don't give a fuck about Sam. I am glad Sam died. Sam can suck it, like, seriously.
And we'll get into that moment in a little bit. And then the guy who tried to kill Norman was in the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
A couple bodies were in the lake.
Yep. Yeah, we found some bodies in that lake.
There's some bodies that weren't even Norman's.
Mom and Norman went out there a few times and had their little fun.
Oh, man.
My God.
You know what? Let's get into that real quick. All right. So, you know, the actor who plays Norman, what was his name?
Freddie Highmore.
Freddie Highmore. Mm-hmm. This guy just absolutely nailed Norman and what he needed to do to... He made it his own.
He did.
Because this, of course, this is based off Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. It's a classic. It's everybody, you know, when they heard about Bates Motel, I think some people were excited, but then some people were like, "Why the fuck are they doing this?
Yeah, like
leave
this
it,
is like not
leave it alone."
necessary. Yeah,
I mean, reasonable. So, like, you know, I'm the same way with certain series,
right?
And when they cast this guy as Norman, this guy has every tool he needs, and he did everything he needed to do to establish Norman Bates.
Oh yeah, and I even read on one of his, because I would follow the Bates Motel on my Facebook page, that he rewatches Psycho every year before the series.
That's good. That's great.
To just get like into
little
his
tips,
character, real method actor.
Yeah, you know? that's awesome. And you know what? It's not only his acting though; it's also like just his voice.
Yeah,
which should count as acting, but the voice he has.
He's so charmingly likable, like most serial killers you hear about. Like even he still looks like a kid. Yeah, he does.
I think at the time he died, I think it was like what 1995 to 2017.
I think so, yeah, to 2017.
Yeah, so he's still like it's not like he's an old man or anything like that.
No.
And the original actor who played in Norman Bates in Psycho, he looks older.
Yeah, he does look older. And when I told you when I watched that, because I had been watching Bates Motel, and I told my husband, I was like, well, I've never seen the original. And he's like, well, you got to watch the original. So I watched it, and I was so bored. Like, it was so boring to me.
It's a black and white.
It's not because it was black and white, because, you know, there's some movies that are black and white that you're like, yeah, this is good. But I just couldn't get into it. I didn't feel a connection there.
Yeah.
And the mom, and you definitely don't get to see Norma very much, the mom.
Yeah, well, that's what I like about Bates Motel is like they flesh out so much of these characters, and then they introduce new characters that just like makes the show even better.
Yeah, I agree.
Brings better to the lore.
And their interaction with the characters that you're already kind of like falling for. You're kind of like, whoa, well, what's gonna happen with this, and how are they gonna?
Yeah, like Chick should be a throwaway character, but a lot of people love him.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, exactly.
Right when I saw him, I was like, I'm glad they brought him back, because they brought him back in season 5.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Norman throughout the series, you're exactly right. This guy was very charming, and he had, like Norma said, like there's for some reason women who are in trouble or whatever, they cater to you.
Right.
They like you for some reason.
Yeah.
Like women who have something that's kind of or they're depressed or whatever, they like you.
Yeah.
And he is a killer without having to really do anything.
Yeah, he doesn't. He literally shoots fish in a barrel, because all these dumb bitches just come like flocking to him.
Hey, Norman.
Straight up, like,
oh, I just want to buy some paint.
I just want to taint that innocence. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's that whole like I don't know, like just wanting to corrupt something that's innocent. I mean, or that seems innocent.
The first girl who pulled them in, what was her name?
Bradley.
I always forget.
I didn't really like her.
It's my cousin's name.
Oh, that's sad.
So Bradley.
I mean, that's not sad.
That's a sad name.
You forgot her cousin's name.
I know. I forgot my cousin's name for some reason.
No, Norman the actor didn't die. It's actually the character Norman that we were talking about that dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the actor didn't die.
Freddie Highmore didn't die.
Yeah.
I would be really devastated if that happened.
I know that'd be sad. It'd be like a Yelchan or whatever.
It'd be like Justin Bieber dying. It's not okay.
That's okay.
No, it's not okay.
So, so Bradley kind of like was the first woman to really kind of corrupt Norman a little bit. Like, that's where he kind of got so obsessed over it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was interesting. The relation, I think Norman started to really become an asshole, like where he started becoming unlikable, was how he treated Emma.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's like Emma, like, wanted
she
to
really
be...
loved him, and she really cared for him.
and he just kind of like pushed her away or like used her to get to Bradley.
Yeah, it was really sad that whole thing, how it ended up, and she definitely ended up being hurt, and then she ended up sleeping with that guy that was like a pot dealer or something, which was a different side of her too.
Yeah.
But then you saw that she's not as innocent as she, you know, just because she's, you know, has issues in her life or whatever, and she's like going along with, you know, Norman all the time, doesn't mean that she doesn't have her own, you know, character, that, and they built on that, I think.
Yeah, everybody has a little something.
Yeah.
What tripped me out was with Norman was with the teacher.
Oh yeah.
That whole scene where fucking.
That was so like, what's that movie called where the
with Jennifer Lopez?
No, it's like an older movie, like that they Mrs. Robinson or something. It's that whole kind of thing, you know. Just
horror version.
She was just totally.
Or can I say horror version?
Because really what happened in that scene is she invites him to her home, right?
Yeah.
Right exactly. There, you're already fucking up. Like, you're not supposed to do that shit, obviously.
Exactly.
And then she's like, I don't know, trying to seduce him, right?
Well, like, they play it off like nothing happened.
Yeah, like it's innocent, but I don't think it was.
Like, she never did it. She never seduced him. But then, like, later on in the episode, they show it. Later on in the episode, they show that she did seduce him, and then he ended up killing her.
Right.
Yeah, because I think they show that she's dead.
Yeah.
But they never, like in the beginning, like they show he's in.
And there was some speculation as to whether or not it was her ex-husband or her ex-boyfriend or something. But then we all know kind of the fact that you start finding like mementos in his room that he saved from the crime scene, or that he saved from where. Yeah. And he was there, and you just know.
And that was the whole issue too, because of that murder. Was like Norman was put into like, everybody's like, you know, this motherfucker. You know,
right, it ain't right. Yeah,
it ain't right. It ain't right. I say
it ain't right.
It's very interesting with a lot of the Norman Bates's kills and Norman Bates's victims. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that Rihanna didn't get killed, and they kind of turned it upside its head.
Yeah, but I'm glad that they didn't. Honestly, I don't care. Like, I could take it or leave it. Rihanna, for me, didn't really bring that role like into any kind of like where you know, where I was like, oh,
she wasn't amazing.
Only been her who played this.
I'm just glad she wasn't terrible.
Yeah, she wasn't terrible. Yeah. She was watchable, and it was cool because it was like, oh, it's Rihanna playing, you know, Marion Crane, but it wasn't.
No, it's Rihanna's butt playing.
Yeah,
Marion.
Exactly, exactly.
Hold up there. It's that booty.
The booty.
That's playing that role.
She got the booty.
She got the booty.
Yeah.
She got the shower scene too.
Yeah, she did.
But she didn't die this time.
No.
Or the character didn't die this time. It was Sam.
Yeah, and I was like, whatever. Like, I'm glad it was him at the end.
You know, wasn't it kind of interesting how Sam's wife was like so fucking upset?
That made me laugh because I don't know, that girl just kind of irked me, not because she reminded me of Norma so much, but it's like she totally, like, you know, she was definitely unhappy in her marriage, and she was like allowing and enabling, you know, the kind of behavior that her, you know, husband was doing. She knew what was going on. She fucking knew, you know,
and she knew she wanted that Norman.
Yeah, she wanted that Norman. When she saw Norman, she was like, oh, protect me from my horrible relationship.
You know, it's funny, as I think these girls, like, or these women, they look at Norman and they're like, oh yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. I'm going to take him, I'm going to wrangle him in.
Yeah, exactly.
Look how innocent he is.
Right.
Norman does know what he's doing.
They want to corrupt that. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I wasn't planning on the crazy.
Corrupt that?
I wasn't
hashtag hit that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on the crazy. That's the part that they don't understand.
Or maybe they were. Just not that far.
Or maybe they like it.
Not
I don't
that
know.
far.
You know.
But Norman maybe generally loved Rihanna because he let her live.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's a little insane.
Yeah. That was a little bit of a twist, but like I said, I'm glad it was that way because I don't feel like, you know, I didn't like Sam Loomis from the beginning. I was like, what a jerk. Like,
what? Have you seen him in any series? I can't put my finger on it.
I haven't seen him in anything else.
I've seen him in one other series. I just can't remember where.
He does kind of have a vaguely look familiar though. Now that you're saying it, but I can't remember. Any. He looks
familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going through this podcast, but the one character I think we need to address is Norma herself.
Yeah. Okay, so when we were talking about this, I was thinking about it, and honestly, it's kind of funny how her son lives in a fantasy world because he's mentally ill, but she herself lives in a fantasy world just because that's Norma. You know?
In real life.
Yeah, she just totally, like, tries to pretend like nothing's ever wrong and
That's
everything's
true.
good with a nice home cooked meal, and she can help her son's mental illness
and that's what Norman kind of picks up on it too. Yeah. It's like, oh, because that's how Norma was.
Right.
Right on the money, because Dylan's trying to win live Norma. Yeah. Hashtag alive Norma.
Right, yeah. You have to differentiate because there's,
Hashtag alive Norma before she died.
Yeah.
Dylan tells her before he goes, like, Norman needs help.
Yeah.
You need to put him back. You need to put him back in that institution.
Right.
He needs help. And she just doesn't not do it. Fucking listen.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, this bitch is gonna die, and I don't care.
Yeah, because you're at that point, you're just fucking doing it to yourself.
Yeah, she's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Norma? Like, if you really love your son, you're gonna give him help that he needs.
Right.
Overall, though, I love the actress. I love what she brought to the table as Norma. Mm-hmm. She was funny when she needed to be funny. Yep. She was serious when she was serious. Yeah. And when she screamed at people, I was like, I went to my room crying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Vera Farmiga, I felt like she really played that role well. She did really well with being the dominant one in the relationship, because she was. I mean, Norman, let's face it, was her little bitch. Like, and that's
pretty much
kind of the way it was played, and that was fine with me because that's the way that he liked it, and that's the way that he preferred it.
And you see him like going like, I'm not listening to your mother no more.
He would stand up, but then she'd be like, bitch, we're gonna do shit my way.
Back into that bed.
Yeah.
Back into the bed you go.
And then even too, like when she had passed away, I thought it was funny how her character totally evolved. And she became kind of funny, almost like Freddy Krueger did, like like in the beginning of the movies, and then
the hashtag Dead Norma.
Yeah, Dead Norma. It was very funny.
Yeah, and you know, spunky. It wasn't the live Norma.
No,
it was different. Watching it, I was always thinking like, she like a fucking demon at this point?
Like what's going on with her?
Like, she's just like so complete. This is not Norma.
Yeah, she's going to like bars and hooking up with random guys and
Norman's
stuff.
Going.
Yeah,
to oh my god,
that was a surprise.
That was like, whoa!
Dude like, walks in.
They really fucking fleshed out that character. Okay. You did not see that in Psycho.
No. So I was like, yeah, that's a little bit more. Who was that serial killer who did that stuff? Dahmer.
Oh, Dahmer.
Yeah, that was so Dahmer. Yeah. That was a Dahmer thing.
But fucking, I like how Norma goes like, oh, just getting laid. You know, she's like, whatever, just get laid. Damn. I was like, shit.
Hashtag Dead Norma wants to get some. That's what she was doing.
And she did get some throughout the series. She got some throughout the series. But you're right about the relationship with her and Norman, because it's different with her and Norman and her and all the other characters, like with Dylan, Emma.
Yeah.
For Emma, she really loved Emma.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, Norman, that's a nice girl right there. You better fucking marry that girl.
Right, yeah.
But Dylan ended up marrying her.
Right.
And then her relationship with Dylan in the very beginning of the series, which I really enjoyed. Like, you see it all the time.
But it's funny though, like you say that, but it's Norma didn't really want him to end up with anybody, even Emma, because anybody that took the attention away from her was not okay with her.
I think yes and no, because her herself was lonely. Yeah. Until she got married to Romero.
Yeah, then when she was with Romero, I think it was more like, you got to get your own things going on. You should be a kid. She was kind of like...
Yeah, you know what? This is...
Cut the cord a little bit, right?
And I think she knew that, like, Norman was, like, attracted to her.
Yeah, that was creepy. I did not like that.
I'm glad they didn't push it.
Oh, sometimes it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it.
Some of those moments, I thought they were straight up gonna kiss, and I was like, "This is really borderline disgusting." Like,
and you would expect that, since like she fucking slept with her brother. So.
Yeah, I was like.
But that was more flowers on the attic type stuff.
Yeah, it was kind of just like stories from the scary farm, and you didn't really actually see any of it. Which is like, okay, good.
It was just like he just really, really loved his mother. Even though I like Romero's line, like, I don't know what you did to the corpse. Don't tell. Yeah. You sick fuck. And
pretty much.
That was the only cuss word.
That wasn't bleeped out.
No,
that wasn't bleeped out on.
They get one.
Yeah.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah.
And they used it at the right time.
They didn't bleep it out. I heard it.
But Norma was such a very entertaining character. She was a likable character.
She was. I liked her. There was times I didn't, though.
There was times.
Yeah.
But I felt like she definitely was. She was. her and Norman just had such a great dynamic.
Yeah.
And they were the heart of the show. So when she died, I was like, fuck.
How are they going to carry this on? That was my thinking on it, too.
Yeah. So I have a love and hate with that. Like, I felt like they used the ghost Norma too much.
She was used a lot, yeah.
I felt like it took away from the actual impact of the death.
Yeah.
Where, like, I would have liked maybe more of those scenes where Norman was just talking to kind of himself.
Yeah.
And he's just like, just showing, like, maybe the dinner scene of just, like, him talking to Norma, and Chick is just like, the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Like, showing the absence of her a little bit more. I see what you're saying, so that you could appreciate the fact that she had died and kind of miss her a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Which I do appreciate in the series finale, that there wasn't too much Norma.
Yeah.
There wasn't at all. Just the one part where, like, I gotta go, Norman. Like, where the fuck you going?
Yeah, where are you going? And the part where you see her corpse sitting at the table, and you're just like, wow,
that's a useful.
That's real. Yeah. Like, that's real shit. Like, you're just like, holy crap, she really is dead. And they don't hide that from you.
No, those were the most.
Maybe I kind of wish they would at some time.
She was the frozen Elsa queen. From Frozen.
It was a little disturbing, no joke. The way they made her look, like, she was creepy as fuck.
She could have been like a Game of Thrones reference. She could have been in, not Nightwalker.
I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I'll take your word on that
one. White Walkers, my bad.
White Walkers?
Yeah, they're called White Walkers. Okay. They look like frozen zombies.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much Norma.
She pretty much just looked really creepy, and the part where Norman was talking to her and he's like, Mom's in there and she wants us to have dinner together.
Oh, that's so great.
And I just knew what Dylan was walking into, and he did too.
He's like, fuck.
You could even see her sitting at the fucking chair, like, from the way the house was set up. You could see her hair.
He had to
you could see her sitting there. Mm-hmm. If I'd even seen that, I wouldn't even walk in the fucking room. I would have been like, fuck this.
Exactly.
We could talk out this shit outside. I don't want to. And you would have smelled the corpse when you walked in. I'm sorry, I don't care how well preserved she was.
And some of the skin would be going.
Right, like she straight up looked too pretty.
She did.
She looked too pretty to be a corpse, and she didn't look pretty.
The beauty about Psycho, though, is they actually have a skeleton.
Right.
For the mom, so they
did. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
could have been a little bit more. It actually would have been nice if that body was just being like, it was decaying
like
along
there were
as
flies
we're going.
Around it. And
like along the way, we see that preserved body in the beginning of the season, and then we see it's just decaying.
It's just a little too pretty.
It's too. Well, she was pretty.
Yeah, she was pretty. She is pretty.
You know what's funny? It's like that was the prettiest she was ever. She sometimes she just puts way too much makeup.
Were you attracted to her corpse then?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let me think about that. Let's go back to that. That corpse,
I mean, we don't even know what he could have been doing things to her corpse without, on the back end there. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
Like Romero said, you sick fuck.
Yeah, exactly. The way he was attracted to her, and it did show in a lot of scenes where he was like, see her like putting on her dress or walk in when she's in her robe, or there was just too many uncomfortable moments like that. And obviously, it's just, too close for comfort when they were sleeping in the same bed together.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncomfortable moments in the series. I was
like, oh my god, I swear they're gonna kiss right now, and it was so uncomfortable for me. I was just like, oh no.
Did you feel the cross-dressing throughout the series was uncomfortable? Like how you see like a wig and then Norman just turned? Or was that hilarious?
That part was more funny to me because I didn't it wasn't surprising of Freddie Highmore, not because he's femmy, because I didn't feel like he's was feminine. But, like, he had a sweetness to him, so it wasn't, like, a surprising...
Now you know, chick.
Yeah! I was like, whoa, okay, he's wearing a blonde wig.
I'm alive.
Now you know, chick. Like, I was, okay, well...
I would have been like, what, you're cross-dressing? Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
But he stepped so well into Norma's character in that point. It's like, you knew he was Norma, so it wasn't surprising.
That's what I love... going back to the actor playing Norman.
Yeah.
He... fucking got Norma's like mannerisms so down.
He must have studied her very well.
He must have sat down and had the actor. What's her name?
Vera Farmiga. Yeah.
Right across from him, and say, "Just talk."
Yeah.
Just
let me take on your your actions.
Now let me just see your facial.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like. He just nailed it, and I really appreciate that.
I do too.
Because like that's why I thought Season 5 could have been better with a little less Norma, because this guy's killing it.
Yeah.
While he's like acting like Norma.
He's a one-man show. He's like, I feel like she's still there.
Yeah, it's like split personalities.
Right.
You know. Would you say he did a better job than James McAvoy in Split?
Okay, let's like that. That's a really tough call because I really think that James McAvoy really made Split.
That's true.
That's a whole other.
But then again, Norman did make Bates Motel. Like if if the actor doesn't do what he does for the split personality of Norma and like just his psychotic breakdowns, the show falls apart.
I'm gonna say I think it was its own thing, and that he did well in his realm. But Split was just so well done because there was so many facets to those characters and so many different ones that I got to see him play. It'd be interesting to see Norman do other, you know what I mean, personalities. But he did well as Norma. I mean, he has Norma down.
He had Norma definitely down. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything you take away from the series at all, like the super memorable, or like, well, what are you gonna miss about this series and how it's done?
I mean, it's a little bit like a show hole, but you know, it's kind of like I kind of knew what I was getting myself into because they were very clear from the beginning. We're not going to drag this on and make this, you know, a series that's going to just, you know, be that's going to be mundane and have no point to it. If it's going to turn into crap, we're going to cut it at season 5.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. They cut it right at the right time.
Okay, so season 5 was perfect.
Yeah, I liked that because it's like I couldn't see it going further and further and further, and they made it to the point where they were setting it up to become to where it was tying everything up at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like you felt like, well, wait a minute, what happened, you know, here? What happened with this? Or, you know? So, you know, it wasn't surprising to me that they were going to end it because I knew from the get-go from season 1 and when they were renewed for a season 2 that they were going to end it where they felt it needed to be ended.
Yeah, I felt like season 5 was perfect.
And nobody was sacred. I mean, Norma fucking died in season 4.
Which was awesome.
Right,
like,
season 4, right? She died in season 4, didn't she?
Yeah, she died in season 4.
That's what I thought.
And then just the way she died was very kind of unexpected, honestly. And I love the music that they were playing.
Yeah,
like, the music,
love all the music in the show. It's great.
They really made the music fit the show itself, especially the ending of the series finales as a whole. That I love that music that it had played.
That old world feel in a new age time because he is from another era.
He is, you know, he very much is,
and they captured that. I feel,
and that's what. So, where is Bates Motel in favorite shows of all time? Where do you rank that? Where do you put that? Where is it even up there, or is it like you just seen better shows?
Well, because it's been like it's the most recent one, so I'd say it's my favorite recently. Of all time, I don't know. I wouldn't rank it like as of all time. It is a great show. It's its own thing. It's a great show.
I do agree with you. It's not my number 1.
It's not because honestly, I think
I don't even think it's my number 2.
It went away so like freaking long during the year.
It did. It felt that way.
I was so mad when they were done and there was only 10 episodes because I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm a like binge watcher, so like I literally would watch the entire season. Like if it was on Netflix or whatever, I would watch all the seasons.
I think 10 episodes was good enough.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
because they already like. They can only stretch it so long.
That's true. But I felt like they had more that they could have done with it. I felt like they could have. And it was so short and you had such a long wait in between seasons. It was like kind of like you almost forgot what happened in the you almost had to rewatch season 3 to know what was going on in season 4.
You need some recaps in there.
You kind of did because it really kind of got to be like, wow, like you had to wait all the way till next Christmas and then 2 months after that before it came out again.
Is this better than American Horror Story?
No, I'm gonna say no because American Horror Story. I like that American Horror Story does so many different types of ideas and so many different types of characters, and sometimes certain people replay like new characters in a new scenario. It kind of keeps you like loving it, you know. Except for Roanoke, I wasn't really impressed with that one.
Yeah, Roanoke actually was getting
bored.
good, and then it just like
I got bored.
You got bored with it?
I got lost.
I liked it, except there was some aspects of it that I was like, eh.
Yeah, it just got to the point where I was like, you know, when you just start feeling like, I don't really need to watch that this time, or I don't really need to see that episode I missed. Then you know that you're kind of losing interest in it.
Yeah, that's based. Yeah, definitely.
But
what number do you put on this?
I would say, like you said, it's just a great show. Like, it's just something that it was its own thing, and it's gone now, and I knew that it was gone. I knew when I was watching the last episode, it was the last episode, so I wasn't disappointed.
It was a great wrap-up to everything.
It just, to me, it's going to be in that place where it's like, okay, well, that's a great show. Nothing could ever do that. And there's always going to be people who are like, oh, bring back Bates, but it's like, you can't.
Oh, no.
What are you going to do? Like,
yeah, don't came, it went.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's done.
Don't ever
like,
leave it alone.
There's a few shows like that I feel like you just like, and then there's a few shows I feel like should have stopped at a certain point. You know?
Yeah.
Like Lost. I think a lot of people got lost.
Yeah,
Lost.
exactly. Pun intended. Oh!
Gotcha.
Exactly. I know a lot of people were upset and Lost. Another show that really just like ended it perfect was Breaking Bad. That was one of the shows I was thinking.
I got into that and then I didn't finish it. So it's like certain things hold my attention, but if I get invested in the characters, I'm all in.
Exactly. The characters are what makes TV shows go.
Yeah.
Because if you want to know what happened, like The Office was mostly, for me, like the characters, not necessarily the storylines and stuff.
Right.
I'm gonna say
there wasn't really storylines in The Office. It was a bunch of just fuckery all around.
Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans, or even Parks and Rec. The characters are rich in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, see, I like that one, and then I got bored with it. So it's like I like
not
things, and then I don't know.
Not enough Chris Pratt.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'm gonna say it's better than American Horror Story.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I'm gonna say it's one of the
American Horror Story. Which season though? Because there's so many facets to American Horror Story.
You know, that's a good question.
Because you can't say it's better than Roanoke.
I think Asylum was the best.
Oh, it is better than Roanoke, because anything's better than Roanoke.
Yeah, I think Asylum was better. It was the best season of American Horror Story. A lot of people will go with Murder House.
I loved Murder House. I thought that was great.
I really liked Freak Show.
Freak Show was
good. For what it was.
It was good.
I think a lot of people liked the Coven.
I loved the Coven. I thought that one was really interesting, the way that they did that.
But let's just, for the sake of it, a lot of people say that Asylum is the best one.
That's the one. Yeah. I don't know. I liked Asylum, but it wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. Some of the beginning of them, I didn't even want to watch because those are creepy. The beginning.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this. I think Bates Motel is better than all the seasons. American Horror. I'm just overall American Horror Story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Bates Motel is probably. I think it is in my top 10. It's really hard because you gotta.
What's your top 10 though? Because you gotta tell me that.
For sure, top 10 in there is Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
Breaking Bad.
Okay.
Game of Thrones.
All right.
Narcos. I'm really debating Daredevil and Jessica Jones. I mean, even Orange is the New Black. But that's one of the shows where I think it needs to end pretty soon.
Yeah, that one is getting to be tiresome.
Yeah, it's really.
The stories are recycling, and the characters. It's like, how many new people can you introduce that you're gonna give a shit about? You know?
Exactly. So those are like some of the shows that are in my top 10.
Yeah.
I don't put The Walking Dead up there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Into the Badlands I really like, but I don't think it's top 10 material. But Bates Motel from season 1, maybe it's because I binge watched a lot of it. But I think from season 1 to season 5 to the finale, it's just been solid. There's been solid writing, solid dialogue, solid character, solid character development. Where the characters ended up at the end, yes, Romero's one of the cases where I felt like he should have been better.
Right.
But with Norman and Dylan, I didn't want Dylan to die, thank God.
No, I didn't either. I'm glad they didn't kill him off because I felt like that's not what he deserved. I liked the send-off they gave him where you got to see him with his daughter and then, like, you know, happy. And,
that's,
you know, living life.
The last of the remaining family.
Yeah,
basically.
And becoming, like, you know, the man that you knew he was all along. And because I almost felt like, man, he's really kind of like going in guns blazing, like kind of willing to risk the rest of his.
And I love that because he didn't know what was going to happen.
Right, and to me,
he kind of did. He's like, especially when he told Norman, like, "Don't make me do this.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this."
But it was a little confusing too to me because I didn't feel like that relationship was even there. throughout the whole series.
I do feel like it was there. It just wasn't a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I did feel like there was a love because he wanted Norman to like move in with him when he left.
Yeah.
He wanted Norman, there was never too much of a dysfunctional of Norman and Dylan.
And I know he cared about him, but I just didn't see that he was willing to risk, like, I don't know, going in there, like basically talking to Emma and making it seem like, I might die. Like, basically was the conversation he had before he went in there.
Because he didn't want to kill him.
Norman, you're the only girl I'll ever love, or whatever. She's like, I'm not going to amp you up to go in and do something stupid. And I agree with her. It's like, why is he, I don't know. It just, to me, was a little bit weird, but I get why it needed to be him. Obviously, who else was going to do it?
Yeah. I just felt... Yeah, in that particular scene, I just love that scene.
I didn't really like the sheriff lady, though. I wasn't a fan of her.
She was growing on me until she did stupid stuff.
Yeah, I liked her, as, like a badass. Like, she's, like, not buying any of the bullshit. And she's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to see what else I think about it because I don't believe what you're saying,
Yeah.
But when she said that all they care about was that girl, like, the one that got kidnapped.
Yeah.
That kind of irritated me because it's like, that's not really...
That's not your job.
No, it's not your job. Like, it's like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, Romero's better, but...
Yeah, exactly. Well, Romero's always going to be
better. So,
Super
Nerd 81, Game of Thrones was number 1, and Game of Thrones is my number 1 show.
Yeah.
I just think it's such... I can't believe how great it is, but like I said, going back to Bates Motel, where I rank it, it's maybe number 8.
Yeah.
There's definitely my top 10.
Well, that's good. That means it did a really good job then.
It did a fantastic job.
It's up there with some good shows.
The problem with and Shameless would be up there as well. Okay. I love Shameless. The problem I have with a lot of shows, and this is talking to you, Walking Dead, is that the characters are boring, or some characters are boring. There's some characters are just throwaway characters. The dialogue. That's the one thing that really gets me is the dialogue, and that's what goes hand in hand with the characters.
Yeah.
Characters could just be standing, and I was watching Better Call Saul last night, where 2 characters were just standing in the middle of the road, just talking. But the beauty of that scene is that we know these characters, we feel the intensity, and with Bates Motel, I know these characters. The dialogue's not wonky, it's not stupid. Right. Of course, sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But most of the series, it was just solid. And the interactions, the situations they put themselves in, where they took the characters, the use of the shots, a lot of the shots I love, the flow of the shots, the pacing, the direction, everything about this show.
Yeah.
There was not one character I absolutely hated, other than Sam.
Well, I didn't care for that girl that was...
Or the sheriff.
No, that one girl from one of the seasons, and I'm not going to remember her name, but she
was
the
one who slept with Norma? Or Norman,
yeah.
Yeah, in
I
the
didn't care for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess she's all right.
I mean, it was good.
She left.
Yeah, she served her purpose, obviously.
Yeah, well, the dad served the purpose. But, this show, to me, is... And you got to put this out there. Like, nobody thought the show was going to ever compete with Psycho, the original. Not only did it compete with Psycho,
now people like it more than the original.
People like it more, or people appreciate how much more stuff is put into, how much fleshed out the characters are and everything. So I really have so much high praise for Bates Motel. Right. Is it a perfect series? No. Is it my number 1? It's not.
Right.
But is it up there in my top 10? It is. Because
I think there was definitely slow parts for me.
Yeah.
Where I was just like this episode that I'm watching just is like it.
And you're gonna get that. Though.
Yeah.
In every series you get, it's not gonna be high.
Not everything's exciting all the time.
Yeah, Game of Thrones has a lot of slower episodes too.
Yeah.
Or whatever we watch is a lot of slower episodes. But with Bates Motel, it did exactly what it needed to do. It came in, it gave us 5 seasons, it gave us solid characters, it gave us solid. It gave us a solid, good ending. I'm not gonna say it's a fantastic series finale because I've seen a little bit better.
Right.
But if that ending was horrible, the series was horrible.
Yeah, exactly. Opinion. And I don't think that you could say that about it. But I feel like what you said is that like the series, there were some slow parts and nothing's going to be exciting like 100% of the time, And they did a good job, with the character development and everything like that. I forgot where I was going with this.
Keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. Remember.
I'm just trying to remember what I was gonna say, but
you are my son. No, Mufasa. It's right.
No, it just I don't know. It just like you said, it's just it can't be exciting all of the time. But I think they could have did more with some parts of it. Like it's a little safe for me on certain parts. Like you'd go the whole episode and nothing would happen until the end, you know? And like you said, you knew from the beginning that it was only going to be 5 seasons. But I feel like for that reason, they could have really taken it a little bit further with not the gore, because I don't really care for that. But I mean, just the whole part about that they really kind of were safe. I feel like they were just safe. I don't know how to explain it.
I think some of the characters, felt safe. Like they were never going to die. Or they're never going to die in that certain. I think you're right. There could have been a lot more surprises.
Yeah.
A lot more. Like I said, there's some predictable.
There's a lot of predictability of it, right?
Yes, especially the series finale.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate a lot of the setups that led to certain moments and stuff. Like the setup with Caleb. The setup with.
I think it's definitely a series you need to watch from the first episode to the end
of the episode
to understand it.
And just the I think the tones changed a little bit too from that first season.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a phenomenal series. I mean, I give all the props in the world for it. I think it's just when I watched it, and I think binge watching it does a lot more justice because you don't have to wait every week.
You don't have to wait every week for like 45-minute episode, and you don't have to do the commercial thing and whatever, you know?
Yeah, if you binge watch something, you know when a show is bad.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's like not holding your attention and you have the next episode on hand.
Right.
But with Bates Motel, especially
you wanted to go to the next one, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I gotta know what happens next.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I switched to whatever, cartoons.
So you're not all scared before bedtime.
Yeah. Well, it never frightened me. The horror aspect of Bates Motel was never. That's the one thing.
Like I said, I feel like it was safe. Like it was even.
It was more of a drama.
Yes, it was even watchable. I think family watchable. It's not a series to me that was like, oh, don't bring.
Which I'm fine with.
Don't bring your kids. I don't think it was like that.
I think American Horror Story is the horror aspect.
Yeah. Oh, okay. American Horror Story. I will not freaking watch that show when I'm by myself. Like I wouldn't watch it.
You weenie. It's not that bad.
Or I would, and I would regret it because I would end up having nightmares.
Yes, do that.
It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit too much.
But with
Bates, it's like
it's
no,
not. Yeah.
No.
Which I'm fine. I'm actually really fine with because to me Psycho.
I'm just kidding.
Psycho was never like that though. Psycho was more of this individual who's just crazy. And you know what? Split was never scary to me.
See, yeah, and I agree with you on that because it wasn't. But there were aspects of it where I was just like, and I knew because it was an M. Night Shyamalan a Ding Dong film.
Yeah, the son of a bitch.
That it wasn't gonna be scary because none of his shit is scary.
It isn't.
It's not.
Oh, you know what? Well, one movie.
Which one?
Movie.
Signs?
Yeah.
Signs was good because...
One moment in particular. No, 2 moments.
When he's watching the video and the alien walks by.
And the alien on top of the barn house.
That was a little bit,
That was creepy.
That was a little crazy.
And Mel Gibson. He was scary.
Mel Gibson's just scary in general.
He's a scary individual.
He's even scarier now, even without Shyamalan.
Crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's a
They're actually doing a third Unbreakable movie.
Oh, really?
So Bruce Willis is back.
Okay.
So I wonder if they're going to bring James McAvoy back, though.
Unbreakable, they know a second one, you said. There's only been one Unbreakable.
Technically, Split is
the second of Unbreakable?
Yeah.
No.
Did you watch it?
I watched Unbreakable.
Oh, you watched it?
I did watch it.
Yeah, it's technically
I don't feel like it is. I don't feel like it's a sequel to it.
It kind of is. It's a spin-off / sequel.
I mean, it's a villain, like, it's a villain's backstory.
If
a super villain, like...
If the third Unbreakable has Bruce Willis going after James McAvoy Split, then it's technically a sequel.
I guess.
But I don't know yet because it doesn't come out until 2019, so we'll find more stuff.
Well, shit, they're taking a while for that one.
So, Bates Motel, it's ended, it's gone. Are you? Is that it? Like, do you want to see maybe like I don't know, 15 years down the line, maybe a movie or something like
No,
that.
put it this way. I was following Bates Motel on Facebook, and I unfollowed them after the series was over because I just don't want like
It's
constant,
done. Yeah,
like blurps of like, hey, we have the 5-piece box set available now. It's like I don't give a shit. Like I'm done watching.
We have a little figurine, cross-dressed Norman.
We're done. We've been there. We've done that. Bates Motel is over.
I felt like it is.
Peace with that.
It's a closing. Even with Alfred Hitchcock, because I know they did sequels to Psycho.
Yeah.
They did like fucking 3 more.
I saw that, and I watched, like I said, I watched the original, and I didn't feel the need to watch all the other ones.
I didn't watch the other ones either. I heard it was terrible, though.
Because I heard they were terrible, too.
On there, yeah. But this feels like an ending to just overall using... doing anything Bates. It's over with. The only thing I see them doing is doing some cool stuff at Universal Studios. And maybe having like a Bates Motel maze or something like that.
Right.
Well, that's fine and dandy.
Yeah, like doing like an homage to like the series. I wouldn't mind seeing that like at like the Comic-Cons or anything like that.
Exactly. But media wise, film,
I don't want to
TV
see it.
shows,
I don't want to see
it's
it.
done. If you want your Bates,
Phil,
kick. There's Psycho, and then there's Bates Motel, the series.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's where it ends. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, Bates Motel, I think we could agree that it was a fantastic watch.
Absolutely. I would definitely recommend that if you haven't seen it, to watch it. The only thing I get self-conscious about is if when people are watching it, like when I was watching it like on television or something, and somebody was watching it for the first time, if they were watching like an episode like way like from tons of seasons, it's kind of like you kind of come into it like, what in the actual fuck am I watching?
That's Game of Thrones.
Like, it's just kind of like...
That's totally Game of Thrones for me.
You kind of are embarrassed for someone to watch it because you're just like, no, we got to see it from the beginning. Like,
yeah, I mean, you got to see any series. It's not like you're going to fucking like, oh, no, you need to start from the series finale, go down.
Yeah, yeah.
How crazy would that be?
Or read a book backwards. It's like, you're not going to do that.
It's not going to happen. So if you really want to get into it, you got to watch it from number
Absolutely.
uno.
You better watch it from the beginning to the end because you have to see all that and get the character development and feel for the people and see what they're going through and kind of see that whole progression to respect it, I think, really.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it just feels slow and boring to people because of nowadays how things are just like gore and CGI everything.
Yeah.
It's not going to come off as something that's impressive, I don't think, if you don't have that in mind.
Yeah, those deaths have to have some meaning to it.
Yeah. Otherwise you're like, okay, whatever,
Yeah, I'll just watch my cartoons.
Skin off my back. Yeah. So you don't get scared before bedtime.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to end the Bates Motel podcast, but before we do, I would like to know, is there any upcoming shows that you're going to be watching? Is there any upcoming maybe new shows you're interested in?
Trying to think because I'm not really...
I mean, of course you're interested in American Horror Story.
Bates was the big thing for me, but also I really love Nashville. That's a big one for me. I love Nashville.
I couldn't get into it.
No?
I felt like they needed like a Johnny Cash type character in there.
See, I love
the
Nashville.
music was not that great.
See, I disagree. I think it was really good. There were parts of it I feel like, but then I think that when it was with ABC or it was ABC and then it was given to CMT.
Yeah.
Or they took it
where it needed
CET.
to be.
Yeah, country, whatever. Because they ended up canceling it. And then everyone was like, what the hell are you doing? Like, we don't even have an ending yet. Like, no, seriously.
Yeah, a lot of people petitioned it, yeah.
No, it was literally petitioned to the point where the CET or whatever was like, all right, we're going to do it.
I know that main girl died.
Or CMT. She does die, but it's because she went to another show. And that's irritating.
What show did she go to?
I don't even know. But honestly, like, it's irritating.
Connie
Britton. Yeah.
Connie
yeah,
Britton.
And she was great, but... It's kind of like I still can watch it and be like, oh, well, I'm okay the fact that she's not in it. Yeah. It doesn't bother me because she wasn't my favorite character.
Okay.
I mean, she was like, she's one of them, but I like Juliet Barnes. She's my favorite character in the
and
story.
that's played by
Hayden
Panettiere.
Yeah, that one. How do you say that name? Yeah. So yeah, Nashville's my big one. That one's coming back in June. Orange is the New Black is going to be coming back in June or July, right?
Yeah, we should do definitely a podcast on Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, and I can get into that.
That needs to end pretty soon.
It really does, because honestly, the last season was really kind of a snooze fest. I did watch
Washington I was pissed. Like, I didn't think that was a great...
Poussey?
Yeah, I didn't
Is that Poussey?
It was Poussey.
Yeah.
It's a family show.
Oh, well, that's her name. Her name is Poussey.
I call her Punani.
Okay. Well, if it's a family show.
Pussy was one of my favorites, alright? And just the way how she died was stupid.
Yeah, I thought it was really dumb, the way that she, like, died in, like, a brawl or something.
And then what still pisses me off is the fucking guy who just ditched his chick who was pregnant.
Oh my god. And we don't even hear from him again.
I think that guy went to another show, too.
He was, like, one of my favorite characters. I was beyond pissed that they took him out of the show.
And not enough porn stash.
Oh, I love Porn Stash.
You
He's
see,
hilarious.
the show's getting a little bit downhill.
Yeah, it is, because you're losing characters each season that are critical, and then you're trying to fill it with more characters that just can't take the place of those characters.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting if, like... And then I fucking hate Piper.
Well, I love Genji Kohan, the one who makes the show. She also did a show called Weeds, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, I know about...
I love Weeds.
I know
that
about
was
Weeds.
another one that I was like, oh my god, Weeds.
But my Orange is the New Black is... We'll see how that goes.
I think they do need to end it soon.
They do.
Because I'd rather see a show end soon, like, in a few seasons in, rather than it be drawn out and not make any sense and just, you know, be mundane and just really have no... Like, I really feel like they did that with Once Upon a Time. I heard about it.
I heard that it started to go downhill.
But I started not caring if I saw the episode or not. Like, if I missed an episode.
Same with a lot of people say Supernatural too. Supernatural was like another.
Yeah,
show.
and I loved Supernatural for a while. And what's another one? That other
Think hotter.
No, the Grimm.
Oh, Grimm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Grimm.
they went like crazy. Like a bunch. Like, how many other damn characters can you create?
Like a showrunner should know when to stop.
I mean, I get that they're trying to, like,
make money,
squeeze that piggy bank as hard as they can, but it's just
they're
like
raping it at this point.
Yeah, it's like it gets to a point. It's just kind of like in those those novelas and stuff where they
don't you talk about my
where they add like aliens in and like weird shit like that.
¿Qué pasó?
What? This person's magical now? Like
I would like a good alien show. But I was never a big fan. Well, you know, I watched X-Files, but I don't hate it. I never really got into it.
Don't even get me started on conspiracy theories and aliens. That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. And another podcast should be about Star Wars.
Oh, I love Star Wars.
I mean, you saw the teaser.
But I'm more into like the newer one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm a new fan.
Yeah, I mean, the Last Jedi is coming up.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot. I guess there's a lot of.
But I didn't really care for Rogue One. I saw it on Christmas. Yeah, I'm not really.
That was an awesome movie.
I saw it on Christmas, and I didn't really like. I don't know. It didn't resonate with me.
I loved it.
Well, I'm sure because it's a new thing of Star Wars that's like a different aspect of Star Wars.
No, honestly, I loved it for how dark it was.
I just feel like the Star Wars universe is so vast, you can kind of pick and choose at this point whether or not you give a shit about certain things.
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
I don't think The Force Awakens was that great.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I think it's exactly like A New Hope. I think...
That's what everyone says.
Because it is. It is exactly like A New Hope. I do appreciate the newer characters. I really like that. I know Harrison Ford wanted to go out that movie. I think it was in his contract to kill me off.
Oh yeah.
I think one more movie would have been nice with him.
Yeah, one more movie.
One more interaction with Luke Skywalker would have been nice. But that's another podcast to talk about.
Yeah, we're just totally going off the tangent.
Totally, you know.
We must be done with Bates because we're just going off on all other things.
One more interaction with Norman and Han.
Yeah.
What an epic little interaction that'd be.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
So I want to thank you.
Yeah.
For this is your first podcast.
This is fun. I actually.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I prepared way too much because I actually printed out.
Because we totally didn't discuss any.
Just some fun facts.
Some fun facts. Well, let's throw some facts at me real quick.
Some fun facts. 48 people were killed in the Bates Motel series, and that includes.
You would think there'd be more.
You would think there'd be more, but the main ones, that's not the main ones. These are all like people that died in gunfights and like at the drug scenes and stuff like that. And
chick
getting shot in the head and, you know, all of them included. And it's all good stuff. You can go on TV.com and you can see a Bates Motel episode guide.
Okay.
It shows you all 5 seasons and it tells you a little blurb about what each one's about and when they aired and everything.
What else you got in there?
Sometimes that's good, just because, you know, you want to look at it and be like, oh, what's this about? Do I even care?
Yeah, because half the time I just forget the episode name.
Yeah, exactly.
The only reason I remember the court is because I had to fucking like do a lot of thumbnails and like to find the damn name.
Yeah, exactly. And just stuff like that, and where the victims' names are, and you can go on Wikipedia and see what each victim and each person on the show's role was.
I totally do.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good to know, and just good information to have. So
good little tidbits here and there. Yeah.
Just some stuff.
Yeah. So we should definitely do this again.
Yeah. We'll find something that I'm interested in, though.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this, but you know what I mean, like.
Yeah. Are you?
Other things like this.
Yes.
So I don't just sit there like, dude.
And there's so much out there too to really be interested. There's so many shows.
There is.
I mean,
I got to get into some of your top 10s because you were naming some. I'm like, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that.
I will say though. Most of them are a little bit slow, like Breaking Bad. I mean, Better Call Saul is a little bit slower. I'm watching right now. I'm just watching a lot of shows. It's anime
Game of
season.
Thrones, I heard, had a lot of incest and sex in it, and I was just like, well, yeah. I'm not a prude, but I mean, I was just like, whatever.
If you think about it, like, they say a lot of incest. There's only one incest.
Really?
But it actually gets the story going.
Oh, okay.
There's a reason why it's there.
So, like, I found out recently that Game of Thrones has, like, medieval characters and things in it. Like,
it is like a medieval thing, and don't get me wrong, like, I don't really like medieval stuff. Like, it's just not my forte. That's why I never got into Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So what got you into it then?
I just, like, sat down, forced myself to watch one episode.
This is supposedly the greatest thing. Why can't I like it, right?
Well, I never really sat down and watched it.
Yeah.
So I sat down and watched the first episode, and I'm like, God damn it.
So you were hooked after the first episode, really?
Me and my grandma were.
How many seasons is there?
There's the upcoming new one is 7. So there's 6 seasons. But 7's only supposed to have 8 episodes. But they're an hour long.
So are they thinking of shutting that down soon, or is that going to go on? Yeah, it's 2 more seasons.
That's it.
Okay.
2 more seasons. That's it. And they're
Rick
thinking about
Morty.
Oh, we need to talk Rick and Morty.
No, Rick and Morty is my number 1.
Rick and Morty's number 1.
That's my bread and butter.
We should talk Rick and Morty at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
Because we saw the first episode of season 3. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I just love Rick and Morty.
That Mulan sauce.
Yeah. That little teaser, that little spoiler alert on April Fool's, them like subjecting us to that one episode and then making us wait till July to release the rest of it.
I know, little fuckers. But, man, and I know a lot of people who love Rick and Morty.
And you introduced me to Rick and Morty. I think you introduced me to my husband to Rick and Morty, and I was like, what the hell is this? And then I was just like, man, this is comedy gold.
It's hilarious. It's so improv, too.
Yeah,
which
it's
is great.
so good. It's so good. Anyway.
But we're going to end it.
As Bates Motel stuff playing in the background, we're talking nothing about that.
Yeah, we're talking about getting schmitty with it.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to do another podcast, and of course I'm going to do another podcast with Super Nerd 81, and then I actually have a podcast coming up on Saturday morning.
Nice.
Or afternoon, depends on what time frame.
What time you wake up? Yeah.
Well, like that too, yes. I might just miss the podcast altogether. But, like, a lot of my subscribers are, like, they have different time zones.
Yeah,
so it's like, oh, okay. But I'm doing a podcast this Saturday when we're doing with the coolest Okius Taylor. And we're doing top 10 crime/drama shows.
Nice.
So we're talking about the top 10. Bates Motel is for sure going to be up there.
It's got to be one of them, yeah.
It's going to be one of them, but I can tell you it's not my number 1.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that, and then, we're going to find something. We're probably going to do Rick and Morty pretty soon.
Right on.
I love Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Maybe leading up to season 3 or after season 3. And then we'll talk maybe Star Wars and so on and so on. So I want to thank you, though, for joining me on this podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Just hope you had fun.
I did have fun.
You had fun? I had fun.
It was good.
I had to poop.
Do you?
I had to take a shit.
I got to take a shit.
But, no, just kidding. But thank you. And Bates Motel, it came, it went, it conquered. But
that's it. It's done. Don't try to bring it back.
See, say no.
What?
Don't try to.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't.
She's
hand to the face.
She's saying that's it.
Hand to the face.
Yep.
All right, guys. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.